ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 69th verse Satasloki. आश्लिष्यात्मानमात्मना न किमपि सहसैवान्तरं वेद बाह्यम् यद्वद्कामी विदेशात् सदं नमुपगतो गाढमाश्लिष्य कान्ताम् यात्यस्तं तत्र लोकव्यवहृतिरखिला पुण्यपापानुबन्धः शोको मोहो भयं वा समविषममिदं न स्मरत्येव किञ्चित्. We've seen this at length, actually, but it has some connections to the Brihadaranyaka, and we will be looking at that today. So, just to bring us to up to date, Ashlishya, having embraced what? Atmanam, having embraced oneself. So, how to embrace oneself? With what do you embrace oneself? Atmana, by oneself. न किमपि सहसा antaram va bahyam va veda. So the person enjoying the oneness of the Atma does not know anything, whether it is internal or external, because the concepts of internal and external are connected to the body and connected to the mind, etc. But here the mind is not focused on divisions, because the mind here is resolved, and the senses are resolved. Mind is resolved, senses are resolved. So there is no awareness of inside and outside, because it's all one. And then that's one thing. And then so there is a sense of oneness, and that oneness, is there in the sleep state we saw. But what is it compared to? It is compared to yadvat, just as kami. Kami means the person longing for a companionship of his spouse goes somewhere to a faraway country. And of course, we are talking of an ancient time where there are no SMS, no email, nothing. You don't even know whether the other person is alive or not. And then suddenly they finish their work and come back. And so Videshat Sadanam Upagataha. Sadanam means his own house. Upagataha, having reached. Where Videshat, from a foreign country, or from some faraway place. Gadham, deeply ashlishya kantam. So he sees his spouse and embraces her tightly, and then that is in. And then when that happens, yati astam, everything comes to a standstill. Time comes to a standstill. The awareness that I am separate from everything, I am a jiva and I have these problems, and all those come to a standstill. Yati astam tatra. What yati? What astam yati? Astam means comes to a standstill. What comes to a standstill? Loka vyavahritihi akhila. The entire empirical world of transactions, of getting, of give and take, of grudges, of resentment, of not having enough. So the internal world of transactions, that which ricochets all the time with the external world, also comes to a standstill, because there is no inside outside. So the entire empirical world as we know it comes to a standstill. Are there mountains? Yes, there are, but I don't really care about them. So for me, they don't exist. Are there other people? Yeah, I'm sure there are other people, but for me, right now, they don't exist. And then are there, is there punya and papa? Sure, there must be, but I don't experience anything right now, and for me, that doesn't exist. And so, how about the credit card debt? Is that there? Yes, yes, it is very much there. But for me right now, it doesn't exist. This is exactly like sleep. Except in sleep, you are not there. Here you are there. You are, you are not there and you are there. Very interesting. You are not there as a separate individual, but you are very much there as Atma. In a way, the in that oneness, it is, you are there, and there is nothing other than you. So why does the empirical world come to a standstill? The empirical world comes to a standstill because it really is not serving any purpose in that moment. In that moment of oneness, that oneness is not with the empirical world. Usually, the oneness is with the empirical world of names and forms. One tries to be one with everything, and then one tries to be one with each and everything, and then fails miserably because the infinite tries to be one, become, quote unquote, become one with the finite, and that never really works very well. So, here we have a very nice interruption of that. Finally, finding the love of one's life, which is what? Oneself. Oneself is alone craved for, and oneself is alone pursued. And in that oneness, what is there? Nothing other than you is there. Nothing other than you is there. And that you which you meet, which you greet, is contented, is non-demanding, is appreciative, and is happy and non-critical, non-judgmental. That is what one wants. And having gained that, there is no want at all. And if there is no want, you really don't see anything that is irrelevant. That is what happens. If you are completely full and you pass by a very huge buffet of food, you don't even look at it because you're satiated, you're satisfied. And similarly, if you are already, if you are following a spiritual path and you are happy with it, you're happy with what you're studying, you are satisfied with how your course of study is going, you don't keep looking for other things because you are contented. Vidyananda and Vishayananda, all this is, all these are expressions of Brahmananda alone. And so they're not outside of the Ananda, which is the Ananda connected to the self, but they are just tiny expressions of Brahmananda. Vishayananda means the happiness connected to sense objects is what? Is indeed Brahmananda. Brahmananda is not Vishayananda. Vidyananda is Brahmananda. Brahmananda is not Vidyananda. So because that is what we have to, this is how it is in Vedanta. It's always a one-way street. So loka vyavahritihi akhila. Akhila means samastam. All the transactions of the world come to a standstill, including that which powers the transactions, which is what? How do the transactions unfold? In time, in space. Space has folded up, if space has come to a standstill, time as a concept has come to a standstill. So if you're doing something you love, you don't know how much time has elapsed. Why? Because you have been with Ishvara in all this time. That Ishvara is the Atma alone. In that oneness, let's say you're researching something very dear to your heart. You have forgotten how much time has gone. You've just been that absorption, that unification is just like in sleep, but in the waking state also we experience it. Any researcher writing a book on something is close to Ishvara, even if they are not writing on Vedanta. Still, that every knowledge is Ishvara. So being one with the research is being close to Ishvara, is being close to that self which this verse is talking about. And then Punya Papanubandha, Punya Papanubandha means this Punya Papa, etc. in that moment is as good as what is that? As good as go. No Punya, no Papa. What is there to talk about? And so there is everything. Everything has come to a standstill, and then that also has come to a standstill. And then, as a result, what is all some other things are also not there. Shokaha, gone. Shokaha means sorrow. Mohaha, mohaha means fear, gone. Shoka gone, fear gone, and then bhaya, shoka, moha delusion, bhaya fear, gone. All of them gone, 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 gone. Sama vishama midam. Sama vishama midam means this is this is okay, this is not okay. All these just already gone. Sama midam, vishama midam, all completely gone. And nothing is there. Nothing is there at all. And so therefore, nothing is there means other than oneself. Nothing is there. So this is the nothing other than oneself is known, and this is what is to be understood. Now, in the Shruti 4.3.20, I think this is the citation. What is there? Tadva asya. 1 minute, I cannot see the print here. It's an old digitalization. Let me get another version. Yeah, here this is much better. Asya etad atmakamam aptakamam akamam rupam shokantaram. Very nice. It goes straight to the point. So the Shruti here, the citation from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 4.3.20, 1920, 4.3.20 or something thereabouts. So here it is talking about the sleep state, of course, and then but at the same time it goes to the heart of the matter. Tadva means tadvai, indeed, asya, for this person, etat atmakamam, the desire to be one with oneself, is what? Aptakamam. So, etad atmakamam, aptakamam, akamam rupam, shokantaram. This is a tongue twister. You can say it 10 times quickly and see. Akamam, aptakamam, and then what else? Yeah. Atmakamam, aptakamam, akamam. These three, you can say it 10 times and then see what happens. Okay. And so, very interesting. A very beautiful play of words. Etad atmakamam. What kind of rupa? One's swarupa is atmakama swarupa. That which led the person to desire sleep is the swarupa called atmakama swarupa. What is this atmakama swarupa? Atmakama swarupa means that is the desire to be one with oneself. Atmakama swarupa. And then that desire to be oneself, the Shruti points out, the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad points out, Atma Kamam, Apta Kamam. Apta means gained. So the one who desires the Atma is the one for whom all desires are resolved. Very, very interesting. So Atma Kama is Apta Kama. This is a fantastic declaration. So, if I am a desirer of the I, the self, then it's as good as, if I follow that desire, it's as good as fulfilling all my desires. Fantastic. Aptakama. Because the Atma is the only thing that is desired. The only source of desire is the Atma, nothing else at all. No other thing is desired. And not recognizing this desire is a very costly mistake that leads one to pursue all other things as though it were the Atma. Everything is Atma, but Atma is not any one thing that you are pursuing. That's the problem. And so, therefore, so now there is another equation. So, Atma Kama is Apta Kama. All right, Apta Kama means Aptam Kamam Yena. So, by whom all the kamas have been gained. So, by which Swarupa, that Swarupa in which all the desires have been gained. All right. So, this Atma Kama is Apta Kama. Further, he or she is also Akama. Akama means no more desire for anything ever. Why? Because all the desires come because the Atma, the desire for the Atma, as to be one with oneself, to embrace oneself fully, is not recognized. Therefore, all kinds of strange desires keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. So that is not recognized. Being unrecognized, it keeps coming. All kinds of desires keep coming and crowding the mind and exerting pressure to be fulfilled. So now, once this Atmakamatvam is recognized, one recognizes oneself as an Atmakami, then it doesn't take too long to become an Aptakami, because gaining the Atma means what? It's a gained gain. It's an as though gain because one is already the I. So gaining this I, knowing this I, one becomes Aptakama, a fulfilled person, and a fulfilled person is a desireless person, akama. So, this is what is shokantaram. Shokantaram means having crossing the sorrow. This is what it means to cross the sorrow. Crossing sorrow means knowing what one really wants and then pursuing that self which one really wants, and then no, and then gaining that self, gaining that understanding of the self. There is nothing more to pursue, and then if there is nothing more to pursue, that means there is no more sorrow, because the Atma is doesn't have even a whiff of sorrow connected to it. And then the example is given, which we have already seen, tadyatha, in which manner priyaya striya samparishvaktaha, a person who is embraced by a beloved woman here, na bahyam kinchana veda, na antaram. You can see the similarity in the verse. In the verse that we said also, it's almost the same here. It's exactly the same here, and so the words are also similar. Na veda kinchana, does not know anything, whether it is whether the person, he or she, is hungry, angry, fearful, internal situations, the body, the mind, the emotions, the sukshma, internal situations or external situations. Is it raining? Is it snowing? Am I uncomfortable? All that is gone. The awareness is not focused to anything other than oneself. And so this is the This is the Vakya here. And Bhashya, Adi Shankara says something which is nice. पूर्वश्रुतौ यः अस्य परमलोकः यत्र सुप्तो न कञ्चन कामं कामयते इत्यादि उक्तं तद्द्वारा तस्य सुषुप्तावस्थां प्राप्तस्य पुरुषस्य रूपं प्रथमतः आत्मकामं सुखप्राप्तौ अवाप्त सकलकामं ततः अकामं akamam astamitamam bhavati. We have already seen this. Adi Shankara is commenting on how one goes from atmakama to become aptakama to become akama. We have just seen that. Evam sharira avachinna paramatma prajnena jivatmana parishpaktah ashlishta san. So this is what he says, that in the same way, in sleep, the 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 jiva who is defined or conditioned, the atma that is conditioned by the body, is embraced by Paramatma. And so therefore, in sleep, one is Ishvara, one is one with Ishvara. That's why the sleep is so enchanting and so desirable. And the example of the waking state is given so that one connects to this timelessness and this oneness somehow, so that it's not always sleep, 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 because nobody knows what happens in sleep. And so there's not much to relate to in the waking state. So this is a very ingenious example. Further, there is one more mantra which is very important. Yeah, in the same mantra. This is 4321. Tadvai asya etad atichandaha apahata papma abhayam rupam. Atichandaha means, chanda means desire. Atichandaha means the person is, the form of this person in sleep is free from all desires, nothing to desire. Because having gained that security in the form of that oneness, there's nothing more to want in sleep. And having gained that happiness means freedom from shoka, nothing more to want in sleep. Apahata papma. Papma means free from all papas. Abhayam rupam. So the person's swarupa is no fear. If supposing in the waking state, let us say that one is very afraid of what is that? Geckos. You know, gecko, some kind of lizards are there in India. They go and they sit on the wall. They are harmless, but many people are afraid of them. And so then, uh, then the person in the waking state scans the room. Let's say they are going to a new place to sleep, and then they are going. So they scan the whole place. They scan the room, they scan underneath and all the walls and the ceilings and everything. No gecko. But it was in the other room somewhere. Okay. Yeah. And then and then the person goes to sleep. And the gecko comes and then passes by the sleeping person, climbs onto the ceiling, and then goes click, 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 like it does usually. And then what happens? Abhayam Rupam. What happened to fear of gecko? There can be not one, but the gecko can also send an invitation to 10 of its friends and have a gecko party. The sleeping person is least bothered. Abhayam Rupam. No fear. So all the cockroaches, geckos, anything can come, snakes, everything. No fear. Abhayam Rupam. And that is basically that is why it is called abhayam rupam. That is why it is shokantaram, because there is nothing external to oneself that can come in the way. There is nothing internal to oneself that can come in the way. And so therefore this is the rupa of the atma. This is the Atma Swarupa, which is who is Atmakama, who is Akama, and who is Aptakama. Very, uh, Aptakama is a wonderful word. Very, very wonderful word. It's used also in other Prakarana Granthas, in other Upanishads also. And Mundaka also, I think the word Aptakama comes. We will see that as we are studying that. And so this is a very nice, very nice verse. And then the next mantra, if we just can be with the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, before 322, he says, clinches it, caps it all up nicely. And before that, Adi Shankara says that, the identity, the identity which is the self of oneself as the self-effulgent Atma, where all objects of desire has been, attained, is very different. That is very different from the waking state. Why? Because in the sleep state, the person is not divided from anything. That's why all objects of desire have already been attained. There's nothing other than the self. And so that unity is what is being talked about. And so there is no ignorance. And therefore, this form is free of desires, free of grief. And then the concluding mantra here, 4322, says, Atra pita apita bhavati, mata amata, loka alokaha, deva adevaha, veda avedaha, atra steno asteno bhavati. And so like this, chandalo achandalaha, paulkasaha apaulkasaha, amano ashramano ashramanah, tapaso atapasah, ananvagatam punyena ananvagatam papena, tirno hi sada sarvan shokan hridayasya bhavati. In this state, which state? Sleep state. Pita, the father, whose name one carries in a patriarchal society, becomes what? Apita. Father becomes no father. Father becomes non-father. Very interesting. All you have to do is go to sleep. You have disowned your entire family. What father? You have to put an R there. Farther. The father is farther and farther away. No point in saying that there is something called father. What father? The sleeping person has no father. Why? Because the father is if the father is is affirmed in your awareness. The existence of the father is recognized and affirmed in your awareness, and that awareness has become withdrawn to yourself. It's no longer interacting with your internal organs, mind, senses, etc., or with the external world, so to speak. What father? And then mother becomes non-mother. Mother is no mother. Mata amata bhavati. And here in this case, there we had to add an R. Father is farther and farther. And then mother, you can take away the M. It becomes other. Okay, so there is no mother, no father. In sleep, what is there? No father. Whose name you carry. And you say, oh, this is my last name, this is my clan, this is my lineage, this is who I am. Gone. This is mother. Oh, how sweet she was to me, or how wonderful she was. And how nicely she took care of me. All that gone. No mother, no mother. And then loka, aloka, bhavati. Loka, all the worlds. And during the waking state, the fellow was saying, I really have to go to heaven. No matter what, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to get here, I have to get there, I have to, get this, get that, and then do this yajna and find some twigs for another yajna. And so, because in the Vedas it is said, Swarga Kamaha, so mena yajet. So, if I do this particular fire ritual, I'll go to heaven. In sleep, is there heaven? No. Why? Sleep itself is heaven. And so, whatever you get from heaven, you're getting from sleep right away, right now. So, and then this loka, about which you get gray hairs and wrinkles and, heart trouble, is not there anymore. This loka, which is a constant source of strain, and anxiety, is not there at all. Where is the world? I mean, don't even go to sleep. Just close your eyes. There is no world. No external world exists. And so in sleep, loka, aloka, bhavati. So all the lokas, you were worried about your ancestors. I wonder how they are doing in the loka, in the world of ancestors. No ancestors. If the father is no father, no mother, what to talk of ancestors? And then there is no other loka, there is no hell, there is no heaven, there is no earth, there is no loka at all. Loka means various fields of experience, including this loka. And then what happens is that the loka aloka. Then in your puja room or in your favorite temple, there is a shrine, there is all these, devatas are there. And you think of them every day. You go whenever you can. You pray to them. You dress them. You do all kinds of things. You do puja, either in the home shrine or in the temple. And then you say, and you have these norms, meaning, until I offer to my home shrine, I don't really eat anything. Many people keep like this. Some norms are there. In sleep, what? You don't even know the name of your Ishta Devatas. Deva, Adeva. Adeva means non-devas. All the so-called gods have become non-gods. Immediately, oh, they have become non-divine. Yeah, because you are one with them. They are not separate from you. And then the Veda which you follow, the Veda means the scriptures, the holy scriptures, and Veda can be any holy scriptures that you follow, with so much, so much Shraddha, Bhakti, so much faith, so much devotion. What happened? What happened to the Mahavakyas? Gone. What happened to how you should lead your life? Gone. What happened to the verses, the lilting tones of the Bhagavad Gita? Gone. Gone. Veda, Aveda, Bhavati. No Veda. And then the identities are given. The I am the this Brahanaha, Brunaha. Brunaha means the one who is the killer of a Brahmana. Brunahatti, killer of the Brahmana is, so somebody Brahmana is, talked about because the Brahmanas are supposed to just live off of alms and be very, and exemplify the qualities, the principles of non-injury and lead a dharmic, sattvic life. I mean, it's fine to just, it's fine to say Brahmana, but it applies to everybody who is Brahmana by nature. It is not by birth. So then this Brahmana, who is minding their own business, the Brahmanas minding their own business, his or her own business, going about their day, is just, the person who is there, not harming anybody. Somebody goes and kills such a person, then that is seen as a very bad crime. Why? Because the person was not harming anybody. The person was a holy person, religious, devoted, and then you just go and kill them for no reason. This is called Bruna Hatti. Brunaha means the one who kills a Brahmana is called Brunaha. Brunaha. It's a very bad crime. So let's say a person killed a Brahmana and had this stigma attached. And let's say the person is keeping on repenting. Why did I do this? The person was harmless. I was in a fit of rage and I did this and I shouldn't have done this. And similarly, people who kill children also is included in this. So innocent people who have just they have killed, and this is what it is. So the person is extremely, let us say, remorseful. In sleep, the person went to sleep wetting the pillow, thinking I am an unforgivable person. I have done so many wrong things. As soon as sleep comes, the bhrunaha becomes abhrunaha, meaning no longer a killer of anyone, including a brahmana. And then Chandala, the Chandala means the lowliest occupation in society. The funeral groundskeeper who deals with dead bodies all the time is no longer Chandala in sleep. Chandala is Paramatma in sleep. Amazing. And then, in fact, the Chandala is Paramatma even in the waking state, really, as Adi Shankara found out in the Manisha Panchakam. Manisha Panchakam is a text. It is said in Varanasi, Adi Shankara came out of the Ganga after having taken bath along with a few shishyas. And then right in front of him was a chandala, and then there is all these purity pollution things, what should I say, purity pollution practices. And then because of this practice, the students of Adi Shankara must have said, hey, gacha gacha, go go go, get out from here. And the Chandala was a Vedantin, surprise, surprise. And they thought he was illiterate, uneducated. But actually, not only did he know how to read and write, he had read Vedanta, he had studied Vedanta. And he said, all right, I'm happy to oblige. You want me to go, but tell me, what is it that you want to duri? Kim kartum vanchasi? What do you want to distance? Do you want to distance Annamayad Annamayam? Do you want to distance this physical body, which is, the basically a what you eat? It's just a modification of food. In other words, you are just a bunch of idlis and dosas that you have eaten. And I, being non-vegetarian, perhaps have some chicken and mutton, whatever it is that I have eaten. That's what it is. It's basically this blob of five elements. You want to distinguish from or separate from that blob of five elements. Is that what you want to do? Which is again silly. Or you want to distance one Atma from another, which is super silly because there is only one Atma. Tell me what you want to distance. And then the story goes that Adi Shankara fell at his feet and said, whoever you are, Chandalostu Dvijostu, whether you are a Brahmana or a Chandala, you are a Guru. This is my contention, this is my wisdom, that you are a guru. This is what it is. So even in the waking state, the Chandala is still Paramatma, but in the sleep state, that is understood in a way there is uncontested, and so Chandala becomes a Chandala. And then Shramanaha means the one who has worked very hard and is exhausted, says, I can't even walk one step further. I am tired. I have done so much today. Goes to sleep. There is no tired person anymore. And then to conclude, the verse says, Ananvagatam punyena. Pulaska. Pulaska means monk. A sadhu is not a monk. A hermit is not a hermit. Like this. And so like this is Ananvagatam means untouched by papa, untouched by punya. Ananvagatam punyena, ananvagatam papena, tirno hi sada. Tirno hi sada means tada. Tirnaha means having crossed. Having crossed what? Sarvan shokan hridayasya bhavati. Having crossed all the pain in the heart, in the buddhi, that person abides as the self. So this is very, very beautiful. So that's the completion of what is being talked about in verse 69. Very, very nice. And then so now we can move on to verse number 70. अल्पानल्पप्रपञ्चप्रलय उपरतिः चेदिन्द्रियाणां सुखाप्तिः जीवन्मुक्तौ सुषुप्तौ त्रितयमपि समं किन्तु तत्रास्ति भेदः प्राक् संस्कारात् प्रसुप्तः पुनरपि न परावृत्तिमेति प्रबुद्धः नश्यत् संस्कारजातो न स किल पुनरावर्तते यश्च मुक्तः. Now, finally, we are getting to the point. After spending a lot of time in the sleep state, not literally, okay, in the verses that we have studied, having spent a lot of time describing the sleep state, what it is like, and how there is a cessation of all activity, mental, physical, everything, and how in fact, not just activity, but that which connects us to the activity, namely the external world, is also ceases to exist as names and forms, and how there is tripti, there is contentment in this, and there is absence of fear in this. Having studied all that, having understood all that, now the author is coming to the point, and this verse, starting with Alpan Alpa Prapancha Pralayah, is going to compare the sleep state with Jivan Mukti. Why? Because now we are comfortable with the sleep state. Now we are almost convinced that sleep state is the same as moksha. So why study? Why trouble ourselves and get into Vedanta? Why should I get into Vedanta? Because this is already, I'm already getting moksha every night. In fact, I should just, increase sleep. That means more moksha. More sleep, more moksha. Why should I bother to study Vedanta, Shmedanta? I don't need all this. I can just be. I can just, all I need to do is go to sleep. Now I'll just make a note to the self. Sleep more often and more deeply. That's all. And then, so one should not go away thinking that the two are identical. And one should not think that, the sleep state makes up for moksha. And so those are two viable, what is that called? Options, alternatives. Either I go to sleep or I get moksha. Let's see what to choose. Easier to go to sleep. Let me go to sleep. And ma abhut. Let this kind of a wrong choice not be made. Not be made. And that is, so therefore this verse is arabhyate. This verse is begun. Let us look at it. Alpa, alpa, and analpa. Alpa means small. What does analpa mean? Any guesses?
Not small.
Not small. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, not small. Yeah. Alpa, small. Analpa, not small. Prapancha, this universe starting with the five elements. Pralayaha. Pralayaha means coming to a state of resolution, cessation, etc. So the Alpa Prapancha, we'll see what all that is very quickly, presently. But for now, the Alpa Prapancha comes to cease to be in existence. And what other Prapancha is there? Analpa Prapancha also ceases to be in existence. What is this Alpa Prapancha? Your own small, small thoughts, your small, small fears. No, but my fears are very big. From the universal scale, trust me, they are small. Okay. No, I think they are still big. You don't know my fears. I'm afraid of big, big things and many, many big, big things. Well, I will, if anybody wants to argue like that, I will say, please spend some time after class looking at some NASA pictures, okay, of space, of and especially comparative pictures of Earth. Earth, you think, is so big, and then and then what happens? And then this Earth is kept next to Jupiter, and then what? 10 Earths make one Jupiter, all right? And then what? Then then now Jupiter is kept next to some other huge planet recently discovered called Kepler something something, and then that one is 10 times as big as Jupiter. Now the Earth is where is the Earth now? Earth is a pixel, okay? And then you look at the whole solar system. There is another system which is a dada of solar system, and all this is inferred because of the weight and the mass and everything. It's amazing. All this is just total inference. Even unseen worlds are inferred. And so now they have a new space telescope. Now it is really outperforming itself, and so many worlds it is bringing into awareness. So many planets, so many bodies which they didn't even know existed right outside the solar system. And so this is what it is. And so where is the Earth? Earth is not even a pixel. And then you are there on a small little country. That country is not even there. As far as from the standpoint of this huge, from the standpoint of the Milky Way, from the standpoint of all galaxies, from the galactic standpoint, you're not even there. Your hometown, home country is not even there. What about your hometown? And then in that hometown, your street, your area, your locality, and then in that locality, your street, and in that street, your house, and in that house, you sitting there saying, I have big problems. Think about it. So that is so no matter how big your problems are, this is what is called alpa prapancha, sukshma prapancha. Sukshma means it is all, what is that called? Mm, it is all not quantifiable and not, it is like how sad is one. It's not quantifiable, not easily objectifiable. So this is the Sukshma Prapancha. This I notion, I thought, Ahankara belongs to the Sukshma Prapancha. And all the thoughts that the Ahankara owns up and internalizes belong to the Sukshma Prapancha. Sorrow is Sukshma Prapancha. Fear is Sukshma Prapancha. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, all this is Sukshma Prapancha, called here as Alpa Prapancha. So, Tasya Alpa Prapanchasya Pralayah. In sleep, what happens? The Alpa Prapancha is no longer there. It ceases to exist. And then what about analpa prapancha? Analpa prapancha is things that are very clearly objectifiable, very easily objectifiable, and that you confront every day. Your own body, analpa prapancha, sthula prapancha. And whatever you interact with, other bodies that you interact with in the family, sthula prapancha. And then what else? Other things that, that are there. Your house, your things, sthula prapancha. So what happens to the sthula prapancha? That also undergoes laya. Laya means it ceases to exist, at all. It is not there. Ceases to exist. Alpa prapancha gone. Sthula prapancha gone. So this is the first condition of sleep. And surprise, surprise, of Jivan Mukti also. Ah. In Jivan Mukti also, a Jivan Mukta Purusha, the one who does not have any longer limitations centered on the I, for that person also, there is a cessation of sorrow, problems, all internally cognized, not there at all. Not there. And then the sthula prapancha, even though it does not, what is that called? Go out of, it does not cease to exist, but it virtually ceases to exist. It may be there, but cognitively the person has transcended the existence of the sthula prapancha. Why? Primarily because there is no truck with the sthula prapancha. Towards the end of the second chapter, there is a very, very beautiful verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagarti sanyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. The jnani and the ajnani for the are night and day, are, are as different as night and day. Ya nisha, that which is the night for everybody. Sarva bhutanam, for all the people who are not exposed to Vedanta, who do not have Atma Jnanam. Tasyam, in that quote unquote night, the Jnani is awake. Oh, so the Jnani is nocturnal. Okay, I better take that down. No, that's not the idea. It's not that the Jnani is in the last life was an owl and is awake at night, cannot sleep. No, the night here is metaphorical. Night means that reality to which one is asleep. That's the night. So, that reality of the I being everything, to which one is asleep, to which the whole world is asleep. Sarva Bhutanam Ya Nisha, for the night for all these beings, that reality to which they are sleeping the sleep of ignorance. In that reality, the Jnani is awakened to that reality of the self as one with everything. Tasyam jagarti sanyami. Yasyam jagrati bhutani. In that in which all other beings are awake. The reality in which the other beings are awake. Sa Nisha, that reality is as good as night. The Jnani is asleep to that reality. What is that reality in which all the beings are awake? Strife, conflict, might is right. I want, I want, I want. Get away from me. No, 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 I think you should be in my life. No, 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 go away. This kind of push, pull, fears, tears, sorrow, violence, criticism, judgment, including self judgment. And then going pursue the heavy pursuit of all objects all the time, running from malls to balls and getting something or the other. Everybody is wanting something or the other. The animals are also constantly restless, constantly running. Either they are running towards something or running away from something. Human beings are no different. This reality, the empirical reality, which is characterized by all kinds of pursuits, and the pratibhasika satta, the subjective reality of one feeling disturbed, one feeling afflicted, one feeling sad, one feeling annoyed, all this, the jnani is fast asleep. So here too, alpan alpa prapancha pralayah. In sleep, the person has alpan alpa prapancha pralayah. In atmajnanam also alpan alpa prapancha pralayah takes place. No sthula world, no sukshma world, no gross world, no internal world, nothing. No subtle world, nothing to interact with. They all cease to exist because all that is there is you. Then the second condition for both sleep and Atmajnanam is for the sleeper and the Atmajnani. Uparatihi Indriyanam. Indriyanam Uparatihi. Uparatihi means the sense organs have come to their places and they are not actively seeking something or the other. That doesn't mean the Jnani is deaf and blind and mute. That's not the idea. The jnani is hearing things, is seeing things as Bhagavan, as an extension of himself, herself. That is how the jnani is seeing things. Everywhere is Ishvara. Ishvarized everything, everything is Ishvara, everywhere is Ishvara. What I see is Ishvara, what I hear is Ishvara, everything Ishvara, 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 Ishvara. All is Ishvara. And so this is what the jnani is. And so this jnani is for this jnani, even though the hearing takes place, seeing takes place, that is more of a sahaja activity. And sahaja vritti, that is just more of an activity that happens because it's a fact of life that when the eyes are open and when there is something to see, sight takes place, hearing takes place, tasting takes place. It is all God given. And so the jnani does not really, for uparatihi means, it's not that they stop seeing things. The jnani doesn't stop seeing things, stops pursuing things that are seen, heard, etc. So, with reference to all the things seen and heard, the jnani has dispassion, vairagya. And what about the sleeping person? Sleeping person also has vairagya. Nothing is, it's here in for the sleeping person, nothing is seen, nothing is heard. And we saw that no karma is there in sleep. And so the person, the indriyas, the sense organs have receded from interacting with the objects of the senses. And then the third condition for both is sukhaptihi. Sukhasya aptihi. Apti means gain. Gain of what? Sukha. Happiness. So the person gains happiness, sukhapti. And then what happens? These are the three conditions for which are similar to the jnani and to the sleeping person, and that is what is described in the second line. Jivan muktau sushuptau tritayam api samam. Samam, same. In fact, I think the origin of the word same must have come from samam. And so samam, same. What is samam? Tritayam api. All these three things are the same. Which three things? One is the gross world and the subtle world coming to a cessation, and the sense organs not pursuing sense objects, and then happiness. The gain, again, the so-called gain of happiness are the same for in what? In these two states. Jivan Muktau means in the state of Jivan Mukti, and in Sushupti, in the sleep state also. In the sleep state and in Jivan Mukti, these three are the same. Oh, great. We should finish the class at this note because it is time for bed anyway. So we should finish the class at this note and everybody should go to sleep so that we can enjoy Alpan, Alpa, Prapancha, Pralayaha, etc. So therefore, one must not think like this. Therefore, the author says, Kintu tatrasti bhedaha. But there is a very important difference. There are differences. Otherwise, what we'll go away thinking that it's the same. But there are differences. And what is the big difference? Prak samskarat prasuktah. Prak prasuktah samskarat punarapi cha paravrittimeti. So this we'll spend more time on this next time. But for now, the main difference is that the person who has gone to sleep is going to wake up to the alpa and alpa prapancha, is going to wake up to dukkha, is going to wake up to the sense organs driving them crazy to pursue all kinds of sense objects. Jivan Mukta, not really. How? Why? We'll see that next time. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Here there is a question. Is this verse to explain there is no Dvaita? Yeah, exactly. These are all the sleep verses are to explain that there is no Dvaita during sleep. Okay. All the best.